All right, so let's dive into our third keynote topic, cybersecurity. Now, in today's digital age, our lives are more interconnected than it's ever been before, right? From banking to healthcare, for those of you on mom books or Facebooks, social interactions, and all the way to critical infrastructure, digital presence seems to be in every aspect of our lives. Like if you have a smartphone, you have a digital presence. But with this connectivity comes a very looming threat, cyber attack. So I was doing a little bit of research. Did you know that just last year alone, there was about 5,200 reported cyber incidents just in California? And so devastating impact not only financially, but also emotionally. And it hits not only just businesses, governments, but also for individuals just like you and I. And so guiding us through this very crucial discussion is none other than Scott Alford. I have to say this, I was so impressed by his resume. A cybersecurity advisor to the very well-respected and prestigious CISA, which stands for Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. Did I do that right? Yes. He's also a dedicated Navy veteran. So with about a decade-long tenure as the defense engineer for the Department of Defense, Scott has traversed not 10, but 12 foreign nations on various deployments, honing his skill to protect our nation's most critical asset, our digital infrastructure. So, but beyond his professional pursuits, if you ask Scott, his most prized role is actually his role as a loving husband. And for those with you with fur babies, that would be me, father of 2 mini schnauzers. So today we're extremely honored and welcome to invite Scott to share his experience and expertise and to help us illuminate, like, how does one safeguard our digital life? And so please join me in welcoming Scott Alford to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, well, first and foremost, thank you for letting me come talk cybersecurity. I already know most of you probably have, most people, they hear cybersecurity and they're thinking, as long as my internet's working, I do not care about cybersecurity, right? And for the most part, my presentation today, I wish it was as good as the last one. The last one really touched on a really fantastic way on preventing yourself or responding to cybersecurity scams, right? Okay, so maybe I should slow down here. I'm cybersecurity advisor to Santa Clara County. My name is Scott Alford. I'm actually the first cybersecurity advisor dedicated to the county. If you are, how many business owners do we have here, or people we know are business owners, or we go to religious sites, right? If you are in a situation with ransomware or you need help, you've been attacked, it's been a cyber attack, you have no idea what to do. Unfortunately, my presentation doesn't cover any of it, so I'm here to tell you, you're going to have to take my card, right? Because for most of my presentation today, my job is to secure infrastructure. It's to help you secure your business. It's free resources to get you prepared for and then after a cybersecurity event. So if I see some heads fall down and take a quick nap, I'm not going to take it personal on this. Part of my job at CISA, so CISA it's a fairly new agency. 2018 is when it came out. So that's why I am the first cybersecurity advisor dedicated to you guys. Everything I do is free, right? Everything you need from me and I can support you is free of charge. I'm more of a risk advisor than anything, right? So if you have if you have a situation where you need to respond, or again, you have no idea who you even need to talk to, or you say, Scott, we've been hit by a ransomware attack. What are we supposed to do? I can start that conversation right. Whether that's with the FBI, whether that's with your cybersecurity insurance, if most nonprofits do not have it. And I understand that, but at the end of the day, most of you guys can just call me. Most of you guys can just call me for anything, and I hopefully I can get you some free resources. So CISA, we're actually part of Department of Homeland Security, and for the most part, I'm here to build out a resilient infrastructure for the nation, and that includes helping your mom and dad with their small business, right? That's kind of where most of my topics here are going to be targeted towards, are the nonprofit organizations, the small businesses that probably don't have the funds or the budget to hire a full cybersecurity team. Right? I am a full cybersecurity team, by the way, so if you need me, I come with quite a few people. For the most part, we do quite a few things. I cover down on 16 sectors: election security, your Santa Clara water, PG&E, and so I apologize if sometimes my emails come out a little bit slow, but I do have quite a bit of people that we try to support, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're mom and pop down the street and you run a restaurant, or you're Google. It does not matter. Google has reached out and asked for support for resources. Mom and dad down the street can ask for support. Maybe you want to build a company and you want to get some cybersecurity. Maybe just a framework of what you're supposed to do. You can just call me, okay? And I can come help you with that. The biggest threats the biggest threats everyone kind of sees today is the ransomware threats. When we talk about ransomware threats, for at least the organizations, and maybe at home you click on a link, right? You're always going to hear, don't click on links, right? That's the big one. When we talk about ransomware or you've been attacked, it is often by a nation. I've learned over the course of my time here, a lot of people, they get hacked, whether they're a business or they're just at home, and they don't want to tell anybody. And I want to assure you, it is not your fault, and you should be very comfortable to report and get the help you need. Right? You should absolutely be comfortable enough to reach out to Scott, now that I'm your cybersecurity advisor to your county, and say, Scott, I have a situation. They want money from me, or maybe you don't even know what they want, and you need someone to come talk to you. I'm here. I'm the first one to the county. So you've never had a cybersecurity advisor free to just come help you, and I'm that guy now. Ransomware and malware you'll see advanced persistent threats here. Advanced persistent threats are China, Russia, North Korea, where they wake up, they have teams that dedicate finding flaws in your cybersecurity, where they're looking to get non-discriminative, and they target everybody, right? So when you get a call that says someone's trying to, you're the person who got kidnapped and has to send money, right? And you got to send that through Bitcoin. Just to be clear, if you send anything through Bitcoin and you find yourself in a situation, we can get the FBI involved. I can call the FBI. We come talk to you. And this is the FBI. I've heard has an 85% success rate in helping you recover funds for incidents like that. So if you guys find yourself in a situation or you're scammed and you don't know what you're supposed to do, but you feel like this might be a cybersecurity Scott thing he could handle, I can come help you with that, okay? So again, if you get scammed, I can do a lot of the heavy lifting and helping you recover funds. You have to be quick, though, on that. If you're trying to get your funds recovered, you do have to be fairly quick. I think it's within 72 hours the FBI can help get your money back. I really am starting to regret putting this presentation together in the way that I did, because I cover 16 sectors, and most of the time, it's people who want to know what they're supposed to do before a cybersecurity event. So I'm going to kind of go off the script here, and I'm going to tell you right now, I can help you develop a security plan for yourself. Again, probably this is going to be more towards people who are running organizations and nonprofits, right? If you're a nonprofit out here and you need help building a security plan, you don't even know that you might need one, I can come over and do that, right? If you've been hit with an attack, or maybe you haven't been hit with a cyber attack, I can help put into step by step how to respond to a cyber event. If you're a small business owner and you are concerned that maybe it might be you one day, which it will be you one day, you can just call me. I'm free, and I can put some steps together. Step one, developing. We're going to develop something, okay? We're going to develop who to talk to. A security plan. Not technical, by the way. I do not do technical cyber. This is maybe you call me and you say, Scott, part of my security plan says I need to contact the FBI. Step one. I don't want to do that. I'll do that with you. Maybe the first step is for us to talk, and I help you identify that, right? I'm not going to I could go into details on all the things I can do for you. However, at the end of the day, just remember, when you walk away from here, whether it's a cyber scam or you want to, it could be anything cybersecurity related, you can contact me. I am a resource for you, free of charge. Everything's free of charge. So part of my presentation here is the developing part, but then implementing cybersecurity, which is cybersecurity assessments. I can come out and do free cybersecurity assessments for your organization or your business. You might not have a business right now. Maybe you want one in the future. It doesn't have to be a business necessarily, but at the end of the day, most of my job is doing cybersecurity assessments with you. You'll notice too, building a community of readiness. Again, I'm very thankful that I was invited today because I live right down the road. You guys are my community, right? It's even better when I can just come down in plain clothes and help you respond. Or maybe you want to open up more nonprofits coming up on the East Coast. And you say, Scott, we've already seen some attacks. There's some suspicious emails and people in my area that are trying to, I get these emails that want me to click on links. I've noticed we can do all that. Figure out how to report on that and set up a plan to avoid that. Maybe you need training. Maybe you have an IT staff in the back who don't have the cyber skills, right? I can come out and provide training on site for cybersecurity and bridge the gap to what they need to know to kind of help the operations here when it comes to cybersecurity and educate them. And I plan to be here for some time, so at the end of the day, my intentions are to come back, right? I was already kind of talking that maybe on the next one my presentation will be a lot more better and more pictures because I really love the last presentation and the way it was delivered, and so I'm gonna definitely ask for a lot of forgiveness today. So again, I cover on most 16 sectors, right? So this is my first house of worship style, community style. And so, I wish I could ask the person before me how they did it. So I'm all ears for feedback, by the way, when we leave. Okay, remember I just said I very much regret putting this presentation together. And I'm going to tell you, this is what an incident management plan looks like. So maybe you're an emergency worker, maybe you have maybe you work for maybe you're doing something for your community and you want to help them build an incident response. Just call me and say, hey, can you come help me do that? Part of CISA, I'll speak to so I've been talking kind of what I do, but the agency also does free scannings for your devices. If you have a device, again, I see everyone's eyes right now, and I am so sorry, but any of my nonprofit leaders out there or my business leaders, if you have a device that needs free scanning, we do that, and I'll build out a nice report for you, a nice digestible report. Again, I'm terribly sorry because I can imagine most of you are seeing that and you're like, what is that report up there? Well, free resources for your public-facing devices, that's what that is. I'm going to touch on some quick best practices. You know when you guys get the text message, when you want to verify your login, it comes with a number, right? I can come out and help your organization do that if you're trying to log in and access resources here. If you're trying to get free training here or wherever, again, if the organization needs support building a very secure, resilient infrastructure for the nonprofit, or again, maybe your guys' business, I can come out and do that. Some of the best practices I've already kind of hit on. Building a plan, I can come out and do I can build a plan with you. And then I do assessments, vulnerability assessments. At the end of the day, I don't want to go into too many details with the audience here. Now that I've sensed I missed my mark a little bit. However, if I do have some business members after this, I am going to hang around and I can I can add more value to you, maybe off screen. You'll see, I love this best practice: build community readiness and resilience. Part of my job, it is absolutely build a cybersecurity resilient infrastructure. And I know most people go, I don't even care. I don't even know what that looks like. And to be fair, neither do I, right? Because I have to come out here and it starts with you. It's all grassroots. It's me coming out and going and saying, where do you guys need help? What is your situation in particular? It doesn't have to necessarily only be cyber. It could be incident response, business continuity. If your mom and pop, you have a restaurant, you just need an emergency plan set up, right? Or maybe you go to your school district, maybe you're a teacher or a community leader somewhere else, and you want to know, you've seen an active shooter that just attacked the church down the street, and you go, Scott, what is it that you can help us prepare for something like that? Right, CISA does cybersecurity. My staff also does physical security. We can do active shooter training, and I'll go into that in a little bit more in the presentation here. But at the end of the day, some of the best practices are cybersecurity. I'll be here for that, and also physical security, which the police department was here for that. So obviously they're going to do their best to be responsive to the community here. We do have, if you're hit with ransomware, again, let me ask this. Has anyone actually been hit with ransomware at their business? Okay, perfect. Yes. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, maybe I can, because I noticed no hands went up, so I don't want to maybe dive into too much of this, but I can follow up with that. Because at the end of the day, I have resources for days on ransomware and how to respond. And maybe not so applicable here today. At the end of the day, though, as I do represent CISA, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, part of that is coming out with exercises. We can come train your staff, right? You have an IT staff in the back. We can come, myself and my teammate can come and help prepare them for when a ransomware event occurs. Or you have maybe children at your K through 12 school, maybe you work at a K through 12 education, and you want to know how to maybe respond if there's a shooter. I don't necessarily love leaning on that example, but at the end of the day, and I know you can barely see this slide, it's more so for me, is we can come in and help do ransomware training, active shooter training, earthquake training, tabletop exercises for you guys. Right. I'll say, do I have any educators in here? Any teachers? No? Not too much. Okay, so yeah, we can come out and help with your school district. I guess we could respond to do some cyber threats, but it's more valuable, I've noticed in your community, in your sector, that you do active shooter training or maybe earthquake or fire train, all kinds of tabletop exercises. We can come out. We do training, right? We just come out and do free training. As much as I would tell you the training, or I would love to just tell you, I only do cyber. I also do an educational part to the community. So after this, if you have someone if you want to know how to get into cybersecurity, maybe you have I'll give out my card so I can have a dialogue with you. My goal here is obviously to try and present what CISA does, not so applicable as compared to the the presentations you just had today. I'm very much an infrastructure, individual, and organizational provider. So I apologize if it doesn't hit home necessarily to everyone on this, but if you are running an organization, it's expensive. It can be very expensive for someone to come give you even a quote on what your cybersecurity posture looks like or your physical security posture looks like. We're here to help resource-strapped organizations and people. And that's kind of my big thing. Our agency comes and supports resource-short entities. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, when it comes to cybersecurity, I already started this saying most of you probably are it's not going to hit home, right? Cybersecurity is so unique into who it's going to be applicable for too. If you guys are hit with an attack, you can call me. If you're scammed, right, and crypto's involved, you can call me, or the FBI. In any event, I'll be after this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. So thank you so much for letting me come out.
Now, I know Scott here was very humble and apologetic. However, I will say this, there's so many attacks. I did not realize how many attacks we could be prone to. And problems are never problems. We know that unless we have choices, right? And where does choices come from? People, our network, our contacts. So I don't know about you, but I felt the best thing out of the entire expo today is I felt like we all walked away with like a cybersecurity advisor in our back pocket. Like, how many of you can actually say, hey, I know the guy from CISA? Not everyone. So there you go. So thank you so much, Scott.